Hey, deserving listeners, it's 2021 and 90 Day Fiancé soldiers on, and we soldier on by watching and reacting, and you watching me react, and then you comment below, and then I react to your comments. Let's do this thing. Let's watch the show. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. Let's do it.
All my life, live city. I never go farm. This is new for me, and I have nervous. Brandon say me him fix situation about separate room. I hope this is true because I feel not comfortable stay with parents without Brandon.
Wait, what? So Brandon told Julia that he had fixed the problem about sleeping in separate rooms, meaning that he got the parents to agree to let them sleep in the same room. I don't think we saw that scene. And if that's what he told Julia, I'd want to know the story behind that story.
You want more? Wanna go see some of the rest of the animals?
Yes.
Okay.
We're here at the farm, and she's had an awesome reaction to it so far. You shed a few tears, and I just love that. It makes me feel like, she's really going to be happy here.
What? I don't predict that. I mean, the fact that she is happy to see a horse or she's happy to look around and she likes the welcome home sign, it's not a representation of what it's going to be like to live there. They expect her to work, which she's not, I don't think, very enthusiastic about. They expect her not to sleep in the same room with him. Maybe they won't even get any time alone. I mean, who knows? But let's hope for the best, but let's watch.
This is where, that's where they roost, and this is where you get the eggs in the morning. They'll lay them back here.
We take eggs and eat it?
Yeah, that's where they lay their eggs.
And next, chicken hate me. You kill my baby.
And in the morning, we make sure they have fresh water and they have food in their bucket.
I take care of chickens. I'm actually taking care of my neighbor's chickens right now. They're out of town, and in Seattle, in the city, there are a fair amount of people who have chickens in their small backyard. And I like taking care of the chickens because fun to see them enjoying themselves. They don't have any eggs in the wintertime, apparently. But in the summertime, each one of them, an egg every day. And so in the summertime, when I take care of the chickens, I'm eating a lot of omelets. And the eggs are much more tastier, like right out of the thing. You have to wash them because, it's farm life. I won't gross you out with the details.
I think I open and I don't have hand.
Here, you want to try?
This is not hurt?
No, it doesn't hurt at all.
He's not going to hurt you.
Here.
No. Here, I'll do it with you. It's okay. It's okay. Come on, sit together. Let's do it together.
Now, the one thing I'm happy about is they don't have a rooster, because roosters, the male chickens, are very loud. And the hens, the female chickens, can be a little loud, but they're not too bad. But roosters, I once lived in a house where the neighbors had roosters, or at least maybe one rooster, and it drove me nuts. Like, they don't start making noise when the sun comes up. They start making noise when they wake up, which could be at 3:30 in the morning. It drove me crazy.
Okay?
You remember when I say, I help you? Forget this. I very like animals, but I don't want to take care animals. I like pet animals, walking with animals, but I'm not ready to take care of animals.
Totally fine. Let's have a conversation. You're all adults, and let's have that conversation. Let's hope that they have that conversation. Let's see how they navigate that conversation. I'm guessing they're not going to have that conversation, or they're not going to navigate it well. There's nothing wrong with Julia saying, yeah, I'm glad to be here, but I don't really want to take care of the animals. And for the parents to say, well, you're living under our roof, and so we'd really appreciate it if you helped out around the house somehow. And then Julia could say, are there things I can do besides taking care of the animals? Maybe I could do chores inside of the house. You have a back and forth. You have a conversation instead of resentment and control and anger and yelling at each other and criticism.
Look, she's got it.
This is little fun.
So do you have any questions?
Yes.
How
How much ticket go Russia?
And just climb up over here.
What are all those dogs doing in kennels? Why can't they roam around? Do they get space to run around and interact with people? Because I know some people actually keep dogs in kennels a lot, and that makes me sad. I don't want to jump to conclusions.
They're
There you
getting
go.
hungry.
Убегай, какой пси. Нет, 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 нет.
Come on, here, take it.
Julia! Look at that, he's hungry. Why don't you feed him? Come on, just go put it in the bucket over there.
I get it. This scene is played up for comedy, but she literally just got back from Washington, D.C. She hasn't gone into the house yet. She's still in her city clothes. They put boots on her, and now she's expected to feed hogs. Show her yourself how you do it. Give her a chance to unpack. Let her put on some sort of grubby farm clothes, and then do this. Because, I mean, if they manage this and it goes fine, then great. They had a comedic moment. But I'm really worried that Julia is going to be overwhelmed and she is going to be like, I don't want to do farm work, because they're sort of rubbing her face in it, perhaps literally if she falls down. And they're going to start off on the wrong foot instead of giving her a chance to ease into it, because the parents have it in their minds that she is going to do as much work as the rest of them on this farm. It's not just this comedic thing that they're actually, this is their orientation for her farm job. And to not let her put on proper clothes, to not show her how it's done, to make her do all the things is perhaps getting started on the wrong foot. I don't know.
Tomorrow, you got
You
this.
can do it.
Yeah,
You can do it, I
got
promise.
Nothing to
We'll
it.
work up to it.
Piece of cake.
Want help Brandon, but mother, nothing. Ask me, Julia, you want help or you don't want help? How you feel about? She say you need this. You need to take care animals.
Right. What does Julia do about it? Does Julia quietly resent the mother, or does Julia say, hey, mom-in-law, future mom-in-law, I think we were under a misunderstanding here. I think you assumed that I was going to do all this work, but I would appreciate it if you asked me, because I'm not quite sure if I want to do all that stuff. You know, like, let's talk about it. I want to contribute as a person who's living here, and I'm not going to just sit back and expect everyone to do everything for me, but you know, let's talk about it. What do we need to do? What are the things that need to be done around the house? What am I really good at? For example, I'm not particularly good with farm stuff, but I'm really good in the kitchen, or I'm really good with vacuums, or I'm really good with supply buying. I'm really good at getting toilet paper, whatever the skill set she has of the home, to have that conversation. Now, the mom isn't helping by treating Julia this way. And now it forces Julia to be the mature one, which she's been before. My cat is back here, and I bumped her little thing here, and then she decided to meow. What do you think of Julia? Really? Whoa, hot take.
And when we travel, she stays at the farm and helps us out and takes care of the animals. And I'm really glad that she's going to be staying at the farm tonight, because we have to go to work tomorrow. And so she's going to be there to show Julia around.
Start teaching her that there are things that we
There's
have to
things that need to
do.
get done, and she's hopefully going to pitch in
No
and
better
help.
time than the present to get
We'll
get your
see.
hands dirty. And
So again, you're just assuming that Julia is going to do it. You're assuming that she's okay with it. It's such an interesting way of thinking. I wonder if this is some kind of cultural element that is present on farm culture, that there's this expectation that if you come to stay for a bit of time, everyone has to contribute, because there's so many things that have to get done. You know, we don't like freeloaders around here. Everyone has to pull their own weight. Maybe there's some element of that. Let me know in the comments.
What I love more? I love more Brandon. I love more nice life. I need choice. I give for me 1 month. After 1 month, if I not love this place, I say him, we need go. We need and we leave city. If we leave city, fine.
All right, makes total rational sense. I'll give it a month. This is a big adjustment. I don't know if I'm going to like this, but maybe I'll get used to it and I'll like it. And after that month, if I'm still not jazzed about the farm life, then I'm going to say, we got to go. Makes total sense.
Oh, no.
what's that?
Nothing.
You see?
Apparently, they weren't going to be as responsible as need be, so that's just your role as a parent.
So interesting. She is saying that's your role as a parent. It's interesting because I don't know if everyone would agree with that. Now, it's certainly your role as a parent to care and maybe to offer guidance to your 27-year-old son, but to actually put condoms in the room, I don't know. I mean, sex positivity, it's fine. On the other hand, you could absolutely make a case that Brandon needs those condoms in the room to say, hey, pal, make sure you use proper protection because I don't think you're using proper protection. So here's a little suggestion here. Now, what might be better for Brandon is if the parents, here's what I would do as the mom. This is what I would do given this issue. I would say, Brandon, you're 27, you're a man now, you're free to live your life, but I just have to get some things off my chest with you. And I'm going to say some things and it might be embarrassing to you. You don't have to respond. So just chiming in here on my role play. I would actually do this a lot with kids. When I actually treated kids, they have a really hard time talking about sensitive things, particularly when they're traumatized. And so there were times when I would try to work with them. It wouldn't go very well. And maybe I didn't have that much time with them. I could only treat them for like 3 months or something. That I just said, you know what, I've got to get some stuff across to this person. And I don't have time to sort of work with them in this way. So I'm just going to tell him some things. And so this is something, I might even say this to him if I was his therapist. I would say, it's not my life, it's your life. I'm just going to throw some things out there. And you can listen, you could tune me out, you could respond, you could say nothing, but I just want to get some things across to you. So you have said some things that has indicated to me, I don't know, but it seems as though you're not wearing condoms, and it sounds like you're using the withdrawal method. The withdrawal method, and research shows that, has a pretty high chance of it resulting in an unwanted pregnancy. So it's important to do family planning. Now, maybe the two of you are open to getting pregnant soon. I don't know, but if you plan on waiting to have kids, then a more effective method of birth control should be considered by the two of you. You indicated that you don't like condoms, but really that's the best option available to you. She has said she doesn't want to take the pill. There are some other options out there that you might want to consider. Talking to a physician, you have an IUD, you have other kinds of barriers that you can use besides condoms. And yes, they're not ideal. They can be a pain in the butt. Sometimes they reduce sensitivity, but you know what? To have an unwanted child born into your relationship too early could be a big problem. Could be a blessing too. I don't know. So I'm just going to suggest to you that you consider the overall picture of family planning. And I'm going to suggest that maybe you talk to someone, an expert, a therapist or a physician or someone, or you Google it or you watch some YouTube videos. Because I, as your therapist, or if I was the mother, if I, as your mother, am worried about you. But I don't want to invade your space and I don't want to pressure you to talk about anything you don't want to talk about. As I said, you don't have to respond. I got it off my chest. And I trust you. And I trust that you'll figure it out. And then you just let it be. So that's a more functional way. That's one of the options available to parents. Because what a lot of parents will say is, what, I'm just supposed to do nothing here. I'm supposed to just stand by and watch as they throw their life away. And what I'll say is, well, no, but there are things you can do, but really your power is extremely limited given the fact that he's a 27-year-old man. And he considers himself to be in control of his life. And so does she. She considers herself to be in control of her life. And so the only thing you can do is try to influence. Now, what I've said in previous videos is, let's say you're like, look, I want to be more involved. Well, then you're going to have to work with them. You're going to have to say, is it okay if I get involved? How do you want me involved? Let's talk about it. I don't want to steamroll you. How do you feel about our relationship? Really make sure the relationship is going well so that you can affect the other people. And I would work with a lot of parents on this. I would ask the parents, I would say, so you have a lot of concerns for your kids, and you as adults know better because you're older and you're wiser, you have more experience. So you're trying to impart that knowledge on your kids. They're teenagers or they're in their 20s. You're trying to influence them and they're not listening. Okay, what are we going to do about that? Are you just going to continue to pressure them and they continue to push back with their rebellion and their distancing themselves from you? That doesn't seem like a good option. Okay, so we're going to have to change the tactics such that they actually like it to have you involved. They like you involved. So how are you going to do that? Well, you're going to have to change your tone. You're going to have to soften a little bit. You're going to have to ask them what they want. You're going to have to give them power. There's nothing wrong with parents wanting to be a part of their kids' lives, but you have to create a mutually satisfactory relationship, not one where you're just dominating everything.
Well, you know what? How about if we show you your room?
Now we come back home and I see Gundams. Why? This is crazy. I don't understand. This is like she try to attack me. I don't know why. It's so much.
Yeah, it's just interesting that the mom has said a lot of things about not wanting to be a part of that. She doesn't want to know about them having sex. She doesn't want to talk about them having sex, but she's very involved in their sexual life. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised, as I've said before, that the mom has a number of traumas, maybe even sexual. Who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised by that, given her interesting boundaries.
How cute! Very nice.
Home is wherever I'm with you.
Do you like this room?
Yes.
Are you happy in here?
So let me just throw out an hypothesis, and I have no data, obviously, for the mom. But let's say that you were sexually traumatized when you were young. And as an adult, you have a very complicated relationship with sexuality. Maybe even if it was family molestation, you have a complicated relationship with sexuality in the family. And on one hand, you're very disgusted by sex and you don't want sex to happen. And so the idea of your son having sex with his fiancé in the house is like very, very scary. Now, I know some of you have emailed or commented below and said, look, I'm from the South. People will email and say, I'm from the South as well. And people in the South, it's common for them not to have them sleep in the same room. It's very culturally common, for them to be like that. But just going with this hypothesis, that you might be very disdainful of sex and very scared of sex and very rejecting of sex. And she seems to be that way with them. While at the same time, you might be very invasive with sex and very steamrolling with sex and very dominant with sex. So, because she seems to be both at the same time. She seems to be very rejecting of their sexuality while also invading their sexuality. My cat agrees with me. Yeah, I hear you. So I don't know, but that would be a possible presentation of someone who went through sexual trauma because they had sexuality modeled to them in a way that had sort of off-kilter morals and off-kilter boundaries, where on one hand it was discussing, on the other hand there was a lot of invasion. And so people who go through those experiences have a different gauge of what is considered to be going too far. And maybe she exhibits that. Again, I have no idea. It's just complete speculation.
I understand if animals live outside, not live inside. I don't understand this. It's crazy.
Julia, how do you like your steak? Do you like it well done, medium, rare? How do you like it?
I'm still concerned about those dogs. Are they left in the kennel all day? Of course, I have no way of knowing that. Maybe those dogs have free reign of the entire ranch all the time.
I'm scared. I'm scared
don't
to
stay.
sleep first night without you.
Yeah, she's scared to sleep alone.
We sleep another room or we have deal in the sleep one room.
Yeah, tonight you have to be in your room and he has to be in his room.
She said no.
Yeah.
I think I don't understand.
Yeah, she said no.
Right. So earlier in this episode, she was seemingly under the impression that Brandon had convinced the mom to let them sleep in the same room. And now, all of a sudden, she is like, oh, so you didn't convince her. Yikes.
Rita,
think-
we need to get
Don't
married.
you feel weird
I
about
think
this?
maybe that we should keep talking about it, and maybe you'll change your mind.
No.
This is serious.
Yeah.
I know
really
you're trying to make light of it because it's an uncomfortable situation for you. We understand that.
Okay.
But
So it's not a joke. This is not a joke.
All right.
Don't make it a joke.
Okay.
All right. So they're having a conversation about it, and the tone seems to be consistent with that of a teenage boy or even a younger person being chastised by their parents. So on one hand, it's fine for the parents to say, look, if you're going to be in our house, you're going to follow this rule. It's also fine for the two of them to say, you know what, deal breaker, we're moving out. But to stay and live in this limbo doesn't seem to be a recipe for success. They seem to be framing it in the last episode where he's basically saying, look, we can't move out on our own right now because we're trying to save up money for a good wedding and a reception and everything. As a therapist, I'd say, well, what do y'all want to do? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in a way that everyone can feel heard and understood, because sometimes there's just going to be conflicts like this in a family. And my job as a family therapist is to help people communicate, help people balance the power, help people to get to know what they want, help people to hear each other, that kind of thing. But it's still up to people to decide what they want to do with their lives. If I was his friend, I would say, dude, move out. This is a disaster. Julia could learn to hate you because of what's happening here. And so if you want to make this work, you got to get this, started on the right foot, which might mean that you have a very, very cheap wedding and a very, very cheap reception. But you probably won't get to the wedding phase if you stay in this house.
then all of a sudden it rears its ugly head again.
Pushing the envelope. Brandon was like not paying attention, and he needs to push back on her a little bit, saying, this is my family. This is my mom. This is my dad. This is a matter of respect.
And I
agree. He needs to take a little bit of a stance there, and I think he understands that.
So, as I've been saying, we see a classic triangle between parents and Brandon and Julia. And the anxiety just goes round and round and round. And everyone is playing their role. The parents are being very rigid. It's their house. Okay, fine. Julia is saying, no, I don't want to play that game. And Brandon is in the middle and playing both sides. And as I've been saying from the beginning, I wonder if Brandon even knows what he wants. I wonder if he's ever been given a chance to really explore who he is and what he wants. We haven't seen, or I haven't seen, any evidence on this TV show that he does know who he is, that he does have a sense of self. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Let's continue watching. All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself and take care of others, because we all deserve it. We really, really do.